Hello everybody. Today we have a difficult question from Tommy. Tommy wants to know about the U.S. presidential election process. So let me start step by step. There's a popular vote. The popular vote means every citizen who is of voting age 18 years and older, every citizen goes and votes for president. I want somebody. You choose the president. So the popular vote is everybody. Then the state, just the state. So for example, the state of Wyoming or the state of New York. Everything is separate. It's not America, it's statewide. So the state of Wyoming, they count all of the votes and they discovered, oh, A won. The winner is A. A has the most votes. But in New York, A didn't win. In New York, B won. B received the most votes from all the people. Okay? So now what happens is once they decide, in Wyoming it is A. In New York it is B. Now if we do the math, Wyoming has few people, New York has many people, so basically B will win. But we're not done. The results from the state election do not decide who becomes president. The results from the state election decide who the electors are. So, who are electors? Electors are people who promise, usually, to vote for A or B before the election. So before the election, I will vote for George Bush. I will vote for Al Gore. I will vote for Barack Obama. They pledge, they promise that they'll do this. And then the state chooses people. Okay, so the Democrats have these electors. The Republicans have these electors. Usually the party chooses. The Green Party has these electors. So they all have their groups of electors. And then the winner of the state gets all the electors. So for example, Wyoming, we have, let's say we have Republicans, Democrats, Green Party, and Independent. Okay? Republicans, Democrats, Green Party, and Independent. Now Wyoming is allowed 3 electors. So it could be they have 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats, 3 Green Party, 3 Independents, and let's say A is the Republican Party. So that means Wyoming will send 3 electors to Washington, D.C. These people will choose the president. So for Wyoming, how many? 3. But for New York, New York has a large population, and for New York, it is 29. I believe it's 29. So, when Americans vote for president, actually they're voting for a state representative, state representatives called electors. The electors, then they go to Washington, D.C. a month and a half later, a month and a week later, in December, and then they actually vote for president. Okay? So this is not a problem. This is okay, but sometimes there is a problem And sometimes these electors, remember, 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats, 3 Green, 3 Independent, sometimes these people change their mind. So I said I was going to vote for George Bush, but I changed my mind. I'm going to vote for Al Gore. So this is a potential problem, because these people were sent in faith. These people were sent thinking they will represent the Republicans or the Democrats or whatever. So anyway, every state decides, has a different number. The minimum number is 3. The maximum number, 30-something. California is the biggest state by population. And then these people go to Washington, D.C. and actually vote for the president. How many? Altogether, there are 538. There are 538 electors. And it's divided by state. The bigger the population, the more electors. The smallest states, the minimum is 3. Altogether, 538, including Washington, D.C. So these people vote for the president, and you have to have 270 electoral votes. If you receive 270 electoral votes, you become the president, officially the president. All right? So the problem, well, I'll give you a good example and a bad example. Okay, this is a map of the United States. In America, the most population is going to be probably in this area. There'll be a lot of population down here, and out here there's going to be a big population. But there's not too many people in this area. Of course, you got population centers around here. Now, sometimes some candidates are really popular down here. They're the southern candidates. And they might receive all of the popular vote. Everybody down here loves them. Usually, let's say if there's 200,000, all right over here, there's 200,000 people in the state of Alabama who can vote. So 200,000 people, for example, can legally vote. Actually, how many people vote? Maybe 100,000, probably 70,000, right? Not many people. But in California, there's 1 million people who can vote. 1 million people that can vote. But actually, in a real situation, maybe it's the same. Maybe only 70,000 people voted. Maybe. They don't care. So in this situation, the southern states, this guy is really popular. Candidate A is really popular. The southern people love him. So not 70,000, but all 200,000. Everybody voted. Everybody in the South voted. So this guy's got like 40 million votes because everybody came out. But in California, only 70,000. In New York, only 50,000. In Chicago, only 10,000. In Minneapolis, only 5,000. In Texas, only 15,000. So you count these numbers up, and these numbers are less than the South. The popular vote is less than the popular vote in the South, because in the South, everybody loves him. In this case, the Electoral College is good, because the Electoral College balances everybody. Everybody gets a representative. And just because you're popular in the South and you get everybody's vote in the South doesn't mean you're going to win the rest of America. So being popular in the South is good, but then as a presidential candidate, you have to work harder in the other areas to build a balance. Because only being popular down here, getting the most votes, doesn't matter in the American presidential election. You have to get the majority of electoral votes, not popular votes. So in that case, it's pretty good. Finally, in the year 2000, we had a problem in America in the state of Florida, and we had Bush versus Gore. Now, what's interesting is, in this one state, many people, many different organizations counted the popular vote. They counted every vote, because in Florida, whoever wins the popular vote receives all of the electoral votes. And remember, the popular vote doesn't decide the winner. The electoral votes decide the winner. So what happened was, basically, according to some groups, Bush won the popular vote by just a few people, like 150 people, 130 people in the whole state. Only 100, wow, so it's like amazing. Very close race. But because he won, he received all of Florida's electoral votes. And because he received all of the electoral votes, I think he had 271, he became the US president. So if Gore had won, he would become US president. They're so close. That's why Gore kept asking, let's count again, let's count again, let's count again, let's double check, let's double check. But Bush won. Also at the time, Bush's brother was the governor of Florida. Did that help? I don't know. Would the world be different? I don't know. But also, what's interesting is Al Gore, for all of the United States, Al Gore actually received more popular votes than he received electoral votes. So popular votes in America don't actually decide the president. Popular votes decide the electors, the representatives, the state representatives who go later to Washington, D.C. to vote for the president. Almost always, the number of popular votes will decide the U.S. president. But when the numbers are close, like in the Florida situation, when the numbers are really close, it's not the popular vote that decides. It's the electoral vote that decides. What do you think? It's confusing? I hope you understand. It's confusing for many American people too. But I hope that helps you. And if you have a question, let me know. And if my information is wrong, let me know. I believe my information is mostly better be correct. So I know there are stipulations here and there, but basically that's my explanation of the electoral voting system in the United States. Thanks a lot, Tommy.